Now we're going to head to a small village in Tipperary, where the people there have such progressive ideas on green energy. Donald Byrne met up with the locals in Templederry, and they are so driven by community power.
The electricity produced here on a North Tipperary hillside can be used in the most unexpected of ways. Powering this brush that's become a relaxing favourite with cows waiting to calve. Or this self-charging machine that's making the yard brush redundant when it comes to cleaning sheds and yards. It's all happening on the farm of Aidan Power, who has a dairy herd of 140 cows. He's not just using greener electricity, he's embracing as much new and labour-saving technology as he can. Part of what you've done is you're running the entire farm operation here, apart from the house, on this community energy system.
That's correct, Donald. We're using the electricity from the wind farm and the co-op here to drive our dairy farm here.
Roughly what percentage of your energy is being provided by the community project?
Well, 100% of our energy on the farm, everything more or less on the farm is run through electricity. We use it for heating water and milking the cows, cleaning the place and cooling the milk here behind us. And we use about 1/3 of that is used at night. So it's quite efficient and cost saving to do that.
And in terms of your consumption of the energy produced by the co-op, what percentage of your overall consumption would that be?
On the farm here, it would be almost 100%.
The overall energy bill for the farm is around €4,500 a year. So how much is Aidan saving?
We're roughly saving approximately €500 a year, okay, on energy compared to.
And you have the added advantage that it's green, it's being produced within the community and being used by the community.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. So it's a win-win.
Very much so, win-win for everybody in the area.
Aidan lives in Templederry and he's a shareholder in the wind farm company. The electricity from the 2 turbines above the village is sold onto the national grid and then supplied back to meet demand by the holding company. Anyone in the area can buy it. There are 30 shareholders who originally invested €1,000 each. Customers receive and pay their energy bills through the company. The community wind farm has taken several years and over €6 million to establish itself. It's been a long road and it will take another few years to return a profit.
I would say generally there has been a degree of indifference in as much as we've been quietly developing the supply side of it. So I presume it will become a bit more activated and maybe interest will begin to grow. And I think there's a huge shift in awareness around the country in the last 12 to 18 months that people can't wait for governments and EU to solve this problem. I think people are embracing the fact that they should decarbonise their own area. And renewable energy it's easily accessible, solar roofs, solar park, hydro, wind, if it's developed from within the community and the benefits remain.
And how much can people save by buying within the community?
Yeah, we never tried to make it cheaper. What we want to do is make it fair, that it will always be a fair price. That all our company needs out of it is administration and running costs, but to ensure that there is a fair price, because up until now it's been large-scale promotions by one company or other and people are sucked into switching and changing and all the rest of it. But what we're trying to do is make it a fair price.
So you want people to buy local and keep it local?
Exactly.
Say no to wind turbines! Say no!
However, wind farms are not universally popular. Most are owned by large companies and have been opposed in several areas. So how does the community project try to convince local people that they should adopt turbines that are 64 metres high?
Well, it comes back to where there's a benefit locally for a community. If all the revenue is leaving that community, well then I can see why people would not be open to it. But also, if you look at climate change and what's happening from a global perspective. We need to get away from fossil fuel technology, and wind is one solution. You have solar and you have hydro, but particularly if there's a benefit for the community locally, well then there's a lot of sense in actually developing that technology locally.
So if you can quantify for me, the 2 turbines here are capable of producing what?
Well, 4 gigawatt hours of electricity, which would supply 3,500 homes, equivalent to about half the population of Nenagh, which is the closest small town to Templederry.
Now, you're trying to promote this idea in other communities around the country. How feasible is it, or how difficult is it for people to take on a project like this?
Well, it's hugely challenging. So you're asking communities to compete, which is not a level playing field, where you have large developers that have deep pockets. You have a community group that's trying to actually develop a community energy project locally. There's a lot of costs in relation to feasibility, in relation to planning, and in relation to grid connection.
Is it really financially worthwhile in the longer run trying to be a very small operator?
Very much so, particularly from a generation perspective. The big challenge is to actually get access to the grid and to get the planning permission. But once you do, there's, depending on the amount of money, but it could be a 10 to 12 year payback. But after that, then you're actually generating money that can be reinvested within the local community.
Community Power, which grew from Templederry's Windfarm, is Ireland's first community-owned electricity supplier. They are now working with communities to develop more projects using renewable energy.